Medieval European castles' design changed because of their weaknesses, which eventually led to their redundancy. Throughout ages and still even today, people have built protection around them. In the Middle Ages, protection was by building castles. The castles were motte and bailey, stone keep, and concentric castles. Motte and bailey were the first castles to be built. The castles were made from wood. Wood is weak material. It was easy to build and easy to repair. People inside the castle could see outside the castle and far away. After time, wood can rot away. Motte and bailey were just temporarily castles that was then replaced by stone keep, because stone keep used better materials and stronger materials. Motte and bailey had advantages. Example, they were cheap to build, they were quick to build, and they were easy to build, and it could be made in about a week. At the same time, it had many disadvantages. Example, they could be easily destroyed by fire arrows, and they were made from wood that can rot away. They were made from wood that could easily burn, and that's why motte and bailey were then replaced by stone keep. Stone keep castles soon replaced motte and bailey as they offered better protection from attackers. Stonekeep Castle replaced the motte and bailey castles, but the Stonekeep Castle also changed over time. Stonekeep Castles were built taller and gave better protection against attackers. Stonekeep Castles were good, but they still had weaknesses because they were built with corners. They could be easily damaged if any enemy tunneled underneath and break down the tunnel. In this case, the keep's edges will fall through the ground into the tunnel. Stonekeep Castle has advantages. Example, the wall wouldn't burn because they were made out of stone, and the walls were high, so the attacker arrows could not go over the top. The walls were a few meters thick, even though there were a lot of disadvantages in the castle. The towers have only one way up, so if attackers are going up the path, defenders have nowhere else to go. And that is something that made the concentric castle replace Stonekeep Castle. Concentric castles were the next to follow on from Stonekeep Castle that appeared in Europe in the 13th century. The concentric castles is two castles in one. A concentric castle has an outer and an inner wall and multiple gatehouses. Concentric castle has a postern that was a small gate from which the people living in the castle could escape in case of emergency. Keep is the king or lord's home. It was the most secure place in the castle. The difference between a Stonekeep Castle and a concentric castle is that Stonekeep Castle only defends with their higher wall, but the concentric castle had loads of walls surrounding them. Concentric castle has advantages. For example, it was almost impossible to enter the castle, and stone made it last for a long time, and it was impossible to make it burn. And it has different angles of defense. Even though it has disadvantages, it was very expensive and difficult to build, and a lot of planning was needed. And it was difficult to escape in case of attack even though it has a postern, and a lot of soldiers were needed to defend the castle. Most of the reasons castles changed were because attackers found new ways of breaking into them. Castles were so important at that time.